Hi, SJ. I'm looking at your swing here and I'm comparing it to that of Magglio Ordonez. A couple things. First of all, it's a very good swing. You keep your eye on the ball well. Your bat path is great. You drive the ball deep to left field. I think it's caught, but hey, we can't control the end, just what we do. And a line drive to left counts pretty good. I looked at about 3 hitters looking for a good comparison to yours. I looked at 3 guys, none of whom used much of a stride, and you don't use much of a stride, nor do you need one. You have good natural power. And let's just look at both swings sort of in slow motion. Look at your stance first, and then look at your stride and compare it to the other. Notice how you kind of just, in this swing at least, you stride with your foot pretty much open. Most hitters will stride with their front foot closed, at least 45 degrees closed, and then the force of the swing opens it up. By striding with your foot pointing directly back at the pitcher from the beginning, you lose a little bit of the power firing your hips through the pitch. But like I said, you've got good natural power, so that's not the worst thing in the world. But you see how closed Ordonez's front foot is relative to yours prior to the swing? Now let's head over to some other things. Slowing the swings down. I looked at Pujols, I looked at Mike Sweeney, I looked at Ordonez, and I looked at those 3 in part because, again, all 3 use a sort of similar minimalist stride. I'd call your stride pretty minimalist. I'd say overall I'll have a slightly wider stance than yours, but after that the 3 stances look pretty similar. Yeah, all of you, the load's good. All you're doing is sort of rocking back on your back foot, picking your front heel up and maybe rotating your knee in just a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good solid load. Again, I think you might want to consider being just a little wider in your stance if you're going to use this minimalist load. And here's the part we could see before in slow motion. Because Ordonez strides with his front foot almost completely closed, his hips stay back so that when he does fire them, he can fire them completely through the pitch. Because you're striding with your front foot pointing at the pitcher, your hips are already opening, and you lose a little bit of power this way. After that, though, it looks really very nice. So there's just a little later when the front heel comes down. And one of the biggest things a lot of 12-year-olds have trouble with is separating the stride from the swing. You finish your stride here and your hands are still cocked. Ordonez is a little more cocked, but that's still very good. You are separating the stride from the swing. All the parts are adding up together. Your hands are leading the bat head into the swing. That's great. Your head is right on the ball. That's great. Your weight is pretty darn balanced right between your legs. I think your balance would be even better with a slightly wider base, but that's still very good. So we come into contact. Again, head's right on the ball. You've got the appropriate amount. You're not a bend in both arms. You are driving the bat through the ball really nicely. Balance is still very good. And like a lot of the kids on our team, you actually have the strength to get good extension after contact, and your extension's right where it should be. The bat pointing right out to center field. You look at almost every good hitter. That's where their bat extends. And now right through the finish. I notice you throw the bat again in this one. I really don't care whether a hitter keeps one hand on during the follow-through or 2. In your case, if you continue to have trouble throwing the bat, you might want to consider going for a 2-hand follow-through just to stop that, because eventually you just cannot keep throwing the bat. But like I said, this is a good swing and far more good than bad. Head's on the ball really well. You're letting your hands lead the bat into the swing really well. You'll load well. Your balance is good. I would consider a slightly wider stance, and more so, I would make sure that as I stride into the pitch, I try to keep that front foot at least somewhat closed. You'll get more power that way.